I started my entrepreneurship journey close to 10 years back, where I was running a startup before and it could sustain only for 5 years. And just because of people, I think it was going down and down. So for a year, I was exploring. My husband had just started his own business. It was almost close to COVID times. We were running out of funds, heavy financial issues, and still there was a this inside fire that didn't let me sleep and that always said that no, you're not meant for a job, you have to do something.
I think how much a profile on your LinkedIn and how much a LinkedIn marketing plays a role in attracting the right talent is phenomenal because everybody wants to make sure that you know how many followers that company has.
Changing that story also for founders that HR is a crucial function for growth and it's fundamental area and it needs to be there from the start. So that is what I think unHR is trying to do.
How can startups strike a balance between flexibility and productivity? Today, we have been joined by someone who doesn't understand hiring, she redefines it. Meet Dishi, an HR consultant and a recruiter coach who thrives on cracking complex talent puzzles with a swift, no nonsense approach. As a co founder of Let's Build Brands, she works across industries like social commerce, e commerce, and food tech, bringing the right people to the right roles fast and efficiently. She is not the traditional HR pro. Dishi is a startup enthusiast, a system thinker, and a true growth marketer nerd. Whether it is designing scalable product first hiring strategies or mentoring others to do the same, her work is all about impact with heart. And her latest initiatives, Retain the Star, is where her HRpreneur spirits really shines. Giving back the community, creating opportunities, and helping others, building people first business. This episode is for the founders, team builders, and anyone who's ever struggled with hiring right. Dishi's got wisdom, war stories, and winning frameworks to share. Let's get into it. Hi Dishi. So a lot of people ask us this question, like that we are startups and we want to hire and we want to probably just test the waters, right? And they want to just hire remotely. Have you seen some cases like these where you know people want to build global teams across? What do you think are the challenges that they come up with, and how do you solve those challenges?
So I can probably answer to this with a example. So there was a client of ours who was based out of Indore, and they had a team in Indore, and they wanted to expand and attract good talent and better talent in metro cities like Delhi and Mumbai.
Right.
So, couple of challenges that they faced initially were since the teams were different. So they had to attract talent with the different mindset. They had to give some extra perks, like give them work from home options, give them some
Okay.
flexibility,
Right.
so that you are able to attract better talent in those cities,
I so
right?
agree with this. Yes.
So, this client of ours that we hired in Indore, they were completely working from office, but we had an option. We had to give an option for teams sitting out of Bangalore and Delhi to give an option of work from home.
Right.
So, that was one thing that we proposed, and because of that, they got better talent. Secondly, they involved more flexibilities in terms of working hours. So we suggested them to have flexible options of,
Work
uh,
anytime.
anytime from anywhere.
Right.
We offered them and we suggested them to go for a very good co-working space, an attractive co-working space, because Gen Zs, if you
Right.
talk about, they want to work in a space which is looking good. So
Correct.
we help them go for a good co-working space. Plus it needs to have a good connectivity with metro, so that people are able to access the office quickly. So
Correct.
these were couple of suggestions that we gave. Secondly, we also help them get some policies, better policies or evolved policies for employees in these two cities, like offer them have some maternity policies for them, uh,
Right.
so
So there are a
make
lot of
sure.
moms also which can rejoin the workforce,
Yes.
and they probably need a good culture. They are ready to work for startups, but I think what they're looking at is good flexibility, as you're saying. So I
Yes.
think great point, Dishi, that you're talking about. Like I think there is a very good learning which startups can take from here is like how they can build teams from anywhere, but just provide them little bit of flexibility around.
Yes, yes. So another benefit that we suggested this client to add for the females was menstrual benefit. So during menstrual cycles, employees or females can take a work from home for that day, or maybe taken off. So it was a paid off, it was a benefit that was given. So that also attracted a lot of women. And I mean, there was a feedback from the founder when he said that while he was sitting with a few women in the interviews, they had put up this point because we made sure that it is well announced on LinkedIn, on the founders page and companies page.
Wow,
So
wow.
these days, trust me, employees or candidates, they do check out founders' LinkedIn profiles. They do check out company profiles because they do mention that in
Of
the
course.
interviews.
Right. I think
So
I can't agree much on this being into the marketing space. I
yeah,
think how much a profile on your LinkedIn and how much a LinkedIn marketing plays a role in attracting the right talent is
true.
phenomenal, because everybody wants to make sure that, how many followers that company has, or what are the people's profile, or who is running that organization. So I think that's very, very important to maintain a good, social media presence to attract the right talent towards the company. So
And Gen Zs want to work with founders which have good followers. They are active on LinkedIn. I come across with so many people who meet me in interview and they say, "Oh, Dishi, we've gone through your LinkedIn profile," and they actually are fascinated by the founder's profile.
right.
It
I
is
even I
important.
think it's similar case with my company also, when people go through a profile and LinkedIn and then they reach out to you. Even I think I feel little proud also, you maintain something over online which people can read
Yeah.
through.
Ultimately, we are founders and we want to get those spotlights often.
Right, right. She well said on that. Don't you see there is also a challenge that comes across when we talk about hiring, teams in different locations? Like, how do companies maintain a strong culture? Because I think that is a key thing when it comes to, especially when you are a small company. When you grow as a big company, I'm sure you have a lot of, HR teams, a lot of activities, and you have a lot of budgets, right? But when you're a small team, how do you make sure that you involve everybody to build a great culture?
So, culture has many aspects to it, right? As an initial stage, the culture of an organization is typically what founders do. So, majorly, founders are the ones who are driving the culture of the company. So, it is important for founders to have regular one on ones with employees, take them out for drinks, go out for lunch, dinners with them. Make sure that you create a culture where employees are also able to share their feedback about your product or service. Because today's world, employees, and again, I'll talk about Gen Zs because they are the one who are coming in
They're
picture
the new
now.
workforce for us,
New
yes.
workforce for us, yes. They want a space where they really belong to, and where they are able to put out their thoughts without judgment. So it's important for giving them a space where they can give feedback to the founders also. So as founders, we are not used to taking feedbacks a lot, unless it's a product or service feedback. But there comes a picture where it is a personal feedback which is required for our personal growth.
Right.
So it's important that we have a one-to-one with our employees, give them feedback and receive feedback from them if we need to change our leadership style, or we need to change the way we work with them. So yeah, culture is basically this what I talk about at an early stage, and later on you can evolve on culture. You can organize town halls, you can take them out for offsites. I mean, that's part of it, but at an initial level, founders need to be the people manager and they need to be involved with people a lot.
Right, right. I think you truly saying things which I think can be useful for a small company to big companies. I think everybody needs to build that culture. Coming to this, I also have a question related to, like, we talk about culture, we talk about all of those things, but how important it becomes when you talk about companies branding, employee branding, HR branding. Do you think this drives business for any business, for any company, or what is it?
Totally. I think marketing plus HR plays a important role for any startup or company to grow. And how, I mean, employer branding is something which is off late, which has gained a lot of traction in the last couple of years post COVID, I would say. Where I just gave you an example of how an employee spoke about menstruation leaves, which as a benefit
Goes
the
to
company
them,
was giving,
right?
and founder had put it out on the LinkedIn. So to attract better talent from companies, it is important that you do a lot of branding and you talk about employees, like what changes or what growth you are bringing into their families. I think one of the biggest tip that I could give you is maybe shoot some employee testimonies and
Right.
roll it out on your LinkedIn, because that will help attract talent a lot.
I think I'll add on one more thing when you say this thing, and I have tried this multiple times. What we do is probably we create a ad copy, which is shot on one of our employees. We take their stories and we create, a ad which we run across, and the kind of resumes that we get after that is very, very high quality, because it's a
Yes.
look-alike feel that people have. Oh,
Yes.
this has been their journey and this is exactly
Right.
my journey also.
Yes.
So when we do activities like this, I think you really attract the right talent.
Yes, yes. It's like you as a founder portraying the culture on the brand, on the
Right.
company, on LinkedIn wouldn't make so much of sense if somebody from your team is doing that on your behalf.
Right, right. I
So,
think it is when we talk about HR, we talk about employees branding. We talk about like employees have to be putting up their ad and their stories. It is
yes,
which is very similar to when we do other marketing activities, right? When you have a product or a service, you talk about that and you put a testimonial for your clients. Same way, these are also our clients, and we have to put the testimonials across to
yeah.
attract the right talent, right?
It's about locking the talent at the right time. So you lock a client by doing marketing. So
Right.
nowadays it's important to do marketing for your employees also, so that you're able to lock the talent at the right time, because offers are a lot. I mean, opportunities are unlimited, abundant outside. So you need to lock the talent at the right time.
How can startups strike a balance between flexibility and productivity? Because we're talking about a lot of things out here, but when it comes about flexibility, I think some of us are not even that flexible for our employees. Or when
Yeah.
it comes to productivity, we just always keep measuring how much money are we earning. What is this? How do we strike the balance?
So I think flexibility and productivity is a mindset issue,
Okay.
right? As a founder, one needs to focus on how productive your employee is, it not in terms of hours or the time he or she is spending in your office. You should always track on the deliverables that the person is giving, right? So if you're able to have a proper KRA KPI system in place, if you're able to give them certain targets, it could be weekly, it could be monthly, it could be annual targets. If they're able to achieve those targets in a stipulated timeline, then I think companies should be flexible, because their focus should be on productivity rather than being stringent on clocking in, clocking out. You know, how much time are you spending, giving them 1 hour of break. If they take 30 minutes extra on break, you do some policies around that. I don't think that culture will survive or team will sustain for a long run. So it's important that you give them you should focus on the productivity of an employee by giving them certain targets rather than being stringent on certain aspects.
Got it,
So
got it. So this all talking we've done about, like, how people are using startups, how they're growing, how they're doing HR work and all of those things. Dishi, I want to understand what's your story. What made Dishi this successful HR spread across seven cities, I think, let's name it like Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, everywhere you see an HR out there. You see, you're partnered with IIMs, you're partnered with ISB as their partner for the HR, and so many things that an HR has achieved over past 2 3 years. And I know you personally also, so I have a countless achievements that you have done. What is Dishi's story? What made her do this entire job and build a company which is so great?
we started it's almost 3.5 years back, and the idea of starting unHR was to help early stage founders and startups focus on what they are meant for. Maybe they are meant for doing revenue, they are meant for boosting sales for the company and not involved into people management. So we came up with a model which was fractional, which was giving them a flexi option, because these days gig work is in, like, right? So people want to hire experts, pay them for those hours and get the job done. Nobody want to put their head into that particular skill set. So that is how unHR was started, and we have helped founders scale up from 10 to 50 60 employees by
Wow.
guiding them throughout executing all of it that they want, from hiring to setup of processes, offboardings, engagement activities.
So you're
So
building startups to MNC, everything you've been covering.
Yes, truly. I mean, if you talk about my team, our HRs are the luckiest because they get all the appreciation from unHR, and then they get more of the appreciation from the
From the
founders that
clients.
they are working. They are able to go on off sites. They are receiving all gifts from the founders. I think every HR would like to work with us because that is where the story is building up for these HRs.
Right, right,
And
right.
they're changing the story of HRs also. In earlier days, we've always been seen as Rangoli
Boring HR department.
HR department, Rangoli ke liye baithe hain, and all of that. So I think changing that story also for founders that HR is a crucial function for growth, and it's a fundamental area and it needs to be there from the start. So that is what I think unHR is trying to do.
That's really commendable the way you are talking about, and I completely agree that people ignore HR departments until they reach 10 or 15 employees. They could just completely ignore this department, but I think this department is the key why you build a culture and why you make people stay and attracted to you, right?
I think
So
HR can make and break the idea. If you
yeah.
have the idea in mind, but if you don't have people to execute that idea, the right people, I'm not talking about people, I'm talking about the right people. And if you don't have strategies to retain these people in your company, which will help you scale, then I think the entire idea of starting a startup fails there. So we come in picture at this stage where we are able to help you hire talent and help you retain that talent and keep your talent engaged, keep them motivated. So motivation is the biggest factor. If your employees are motivated, it's a happy place to work. So we work on the motivation aspects also.
Dishi, what was your story in starting an HR? I know you've been a serial entrepreneur and you have been into multiple set of businesses. You also have a husband who's into marketing. You also have your dad who's into marketing. So, what made you superwoman today?
So I started my entrepreneurship journey close to 10 years back, where I was running a startup before, and it could sustain only for 5 years. And one of the and just because of people, I think it was going down and down. Every year, I could see that our profits going down, and I was not able to hire the right set of people. I didn't have a good retention policy in play because I wasn't able to compete with the outside market when it comes to benefits because I was a startup. So for a year I was exploring. I didn't know what to do because I was at home. My husband had just started his own business. It was almost close to COVID times. We were running out of funds, heavy financial issues, and still there was this inside fire that didn't let me sleep, and that always said that no, you're not meant for a job. You have to do something
Wow.
for the society. You have to do something for the people out there. So one night I just thought that being a founder, I crashed because I didn't have a good team and I was not able to sustain because of people, because my entire business was people oriented and heavy in services. So that was a moment where I thought that I will do something which will never let founders shut their businesses because of
Wow.
people. And I need to solve that problem where I can give them constant supply of good people and build a pipeline and make sure that they are retained and sustained in the system for them to grow.
Right.
So that is when, every founder that I talk to these days, I always ask them, what is the biggest challenge you face?
Right.
Even if a lot of times there is a mindset issue which founders have. Being a life coach and
Yes, I
healer,
wanted to touch that point also and highlight to the audience that you are also a life coach and also help people to come out of the stress and
yes.
anxieties and so many things. I would really love, audience to understand how is that helping your business?
So when ultimately it's people dealing with people, and either you talk on the founder side or you talk on the employee side, stress and anxiety is always there.
Right.
So now when I talk to founders, I feel that foundership is a loneliest journey. You're always walking alone and nobody can ever understand what's going in the core of your heart. So when I talk to founders, I really try and understand, and it makes me cry sometimes when founders say that I am trying to build something and it's my dream to build something. Just because I don't have the right set of people, I'm not able to grow.
So
And that,
I remember this because I've also cried so many times in front of you. So I think I can understand how founders come to the she and cry.
yes, and then it touches my heart, and my heart just goes out for founders, and then I say that I'll pick up your project and I'll try to solve at max. I'll try to get the best team for you and make sure that you never fail. So that is how we are supporting founders, ensuring that they should not be looking at HR when they have unHR, and they should not be focused at how the people will sustain, how the people will be motivated. Leave it to us. You just focus on growing your business. So I think it started with that one intention of helping founders grow.
That's so beautifully said, Dishi, and it really means a lot when you get a support at that stage, when you're actually trying and struggling to grow, and if you get a support during that stage, nothing like it. I think that's the key thing. I think that's NHR is trying to solve and help. That just stand by it when you need the most, and then of course you become a growth partner because they grow, and then you also grow along with them.
Yeah.
So it was wonderful having you, Dishi, today, and thank you for such a great insights that you've been sharing across on how an HR policies and how HR things, small changes, can make or break the business. So thank you, Dishi. Thank you for being such a amazing person and sharing all details.
Thank you so much, Bhargavi, for having me today.